Imagine navigating a ship through stormy seas. The captain at the helm makes all the decisions. His word is law. This is autocratic leadership. Now let's delve deeper into this concept. Autocratic leadership is characterized by one individual holding all the power, making key decisions without input from team members. This style of leadership can often be seen as rigid and inflexible, yet it can also prove effective in times of crisis when swift decision-making is necessary. Now imagine a different ship. This one also sails through stormy seas, but here, the captain consults her crew, seeking their input, their expertise. This is democratic leadership, characterized by open communication, shared decision-making, and a collaborative approach. While it fosters a sense of ownership among team members, it may also lead to slower decision-making processes. Now, picture two captains, John, an autocratic leader, and Mary, a democratic leader. Let's see how their leadership styles impact their respective companies. John, at the helm of a struggling manufacturing company, stepped in with a clear vision. With the shadow of failure looming over the company, John knew he needed to take decisive action. As an autocratic leader, he was ready to make the tough calls and steer the company in a new direction. In the world of leadership styles, autocracy often gets a bad rap. It's seen as dictatorial, with the leader holding all the power and making all the decisions. But when wielded with care, this style of leadership can be exactly what's needed in times of crisis. And John was about to prove just that. He began by shaking up the status quo. The manufacturing process, once loose and ineffective, was tightened under John's watchful eye. He implemented new policies and procedures designed to streamline operations and improve efficiency. Each decision was made with surgical precision, calculated to yield the best possible outcome for the company. But John knew that change was more than just a series of policies. He recognized the importance of investing in the company's most valuable resource, its people. He introduced new technology and equipment, providing his team with the tools they needed to excel at their jobs. It was a clear message to his employees. He was betting on them, and he expected them to rise to the challenge. Of course, change is never easy, and John faced his fair share of resistance. Employees accustomed to the old ways were initially hesitant, but John, in true autocratic fashion, stood firm. He knew the road to success was paved with tough decisions, and he wasn't afraid to make them. As time passed, the fruits of John's autocratic leadership began to show. The once struggling manufacturing company was transformed into a well-oiled machine. The product quality improved significantly, and the company's profits began to rise. The new policies and technology investments were paying off, and the company was finally on the right track. But the transformation wasn't just about the bottom line. The employees, once unhappy and disengaged, began to see the results of their hard work. They saw their leader making tough decisions and standing by them, and it inspired them to do their best. Their satisfaction levels rose, and they began to take pride in their work again. John's autocratic leadership may not have been popular with everyone, but it was the catalyst that brought the company from the brink of collapse to industry leadership. His decisive actions and unwavering determination turned a struggling company into a successful one. In the end, John's story serves as a testament to the power of autocratic leadership. It's a reminder that while this style may be tough, it can also be transformative. It's about making the hard decisions, standing by them, and leading with conviction. So let's remember John's story the next time we find ourselves at the helm of a struggling team or organization. Let's remember that sometimes it takes a strong, decisive leader to turn things around. And while autocratic leadership may not win any popularity contests, it can, when used correctly, be the driving force behind success. John's autocratic leadership may not have been popular, but it was the catalyst that brought the company from the brink of collapse to industry leadership. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of decisive, unwavering leadership. Meanwhile, Mary, leading a similar struggling manufacturing company, chose a different path. Mary was a democratic leader, embodying the belief that the collective wisdom of many can often outweigh the insights of one. Her leadership style was not about making all the decisions herself, but rather about involving her team in the decision-making process. Mary understood that the employees on the ground, those who were hands-on with the manufacturing process, held valuable insights into the company's weaknesses and potential areas for improvement. She believed that by involving her employees in the decision-making process, she could foster a sense of ownership and investment in the company's success. To facilitate this, Mary began holding regular meetings with her staff. These weren't just typical company meetings where management talks and the employees listen. No, these were interactive sessions where ideas flowed freely and everyone's input was valued. Mary listened, truly listened, to her employees' concerns and ideas. She didn't just take notes, she took action, incorporating their suggestions into the company's plans wherever feasible. By doing this, Mary was doing more than just problem-solving. She was building a culture of open communication and collaboration. This was a culture where employees felt valued and heard, rather than just being cogs in the machine. And the results? They spoke for themselves. When employees feel invested in their company, they're more motivated to contribute their best work. They see the company's success as their own success. The quality of their products improves significantly, not because of new policies or procedures, but because the employees themselves were striving for excellence. But it wasn't just about product quality. The company's bottom line told a similar story. Profits began to rise, showing that a happy and engaged workforce doesn't just lead to a better work environment, but also to better business outcomes. Mary's democratic leadership style might have been more time-consuming and perhaps more challenging than a more autocratic approach. After all, it's not always easy to reach a consensus, and it takes time to listen and incorporate everyone's ideas. But the payoff was worth it. The company didn't just survive, it thrived. Under Mary's democratic leadership, the company became a leader in its industry. But this wasn't just a victory for Mary. This was a victory for every employee who had been part of the journey. They had seen their ideas and hard work shape the company into what it had become. They were proud to be part of its success. They were committed to its future. Democratic leadership doesn't mean that everyone has an equal say in every decision. It's about creating an environment where everyone's voice is heard, where everyone's contribution is valued. It's about empowering people to be part of the solution, rather than just following orders. Mary's story shows us that democratic leadership can lead to outstanding results. It may not be the easiest path, but it's a path that fosters engagement, innovation, and ultimately, success. Under Mary's democratic leadership, the company transformed into an industry leader, with employees proud and committed to its success. Mary's story is a testament to the power of democratic leadership. It's a reminder that when people feel valued and involved, they can achieve great things. And that's a lesson worth remembering, whether you're leading a struggling manufacturing company or any other organization. Two leaders, two different styles, both leading their companies to success. As we delve into the final part of our discussion, let's draw parallels and highlight the differences between John's autocratic leadership and Mary's democratic style. Each of these styles has its own strengths and weaknesses and can be effective in different situations, depending on the context and the people involved. Let's start with John's autocratic leadership. This style is characterized by a one-man show, where the leader makes all decisions and expects the team to follow without questioning. It's like a ship with a single captain at the helm, navigating through stormy seas. John's approach was crucial in turning around a sinking ship. His decisive actions, swift implementation of new policies, and investment in new technologies reaped rewards for the company. However, this type of leadership doesn't come without its drawbacks. It can sometimes breed resentment among employees, who may feel their voices and ideas are not valued. It may also stifle creativity and innovation, as there is little room for outside input or dissent. But in a crisis situation, where quick decision-making is needed, an autocratic style like John's can be just what the doctor ordered. Now let's shift gears and consider Mary's democratic leadership style. This approach is marked by collective decision-making, open dialogue, and a strong emphasis on collaboration. It's like a round table where everyone has a voice and a vote. Mary's approach fostered a sense of ownership among the employees, making them feel more invested in the company's success. By involving employees in the decision-making process, Mary was able to tap into a wider pool of ideas, which ultimately led to better outcomes for the business. However, democratic leadership also has its potential pitfalls. Decision-making can be slower due to the need for consensus, and there can be too many cooks in the kitchen, leading to confusion or lack of clear direction. But in a stable environment, where there's room for discussion and negotiation, a democratic style like Mary's can thrive. So, which leadership style is better? Well, there's no definitive answer. It depends on various factors such as the nature of the business, the organizational culture, the situation at hand, and the personalities of the team members. A good leader knows when to be autocratic and when to be democratic, and can switch between the two, depending on the circumstances. In essence, leadership isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about understanding the needs of the team, the demands of the situation, and the goals of the organization. It's about being able to adapt and choose the best approach for each unique scenario. In conclusion, both autocratic and democratic leadership styles have their place in the business world. John's autocratic style was the lifeline his company needed during a time of crisis, while Mary's democratic approach fostered a collaborative and innovative environment that drove her company's success. Whether autocratic or democratic, the success of a leader lies in their ability to adapt and choose the best approach for their team and organization. Leadership isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a lesson we've seen echoed in the stories of John and Mary, two leaders with differing styles but similar goals, to turn their struggling manufacturing companies around. John, the autocratic leader, took the reins in his own hands. He made decisions alone and expected compliance without question. It's a style that may have seemed harsh to some, but it was exactly what his company needed in that moment. His decisive actions, new policies, and investment in technology led to improved efficiency, higher quality products, and, ultimately, a business that not only survived but thrived. On the other hand, Mary, the democratic leader, chose a different path. She invited her employees into the decision-making process, fostering a sense of collaboration and open communication. This approach made her team feel valued and invested, which in turn motivated them to contribute their best work. Mary's strategy also yielded impressive results, rising profits, better quality products, and an industry-leading company that her employees were proud to be a part of. So what's the takeaway from these two stories? It's not that one leadership style is superior to the other. Rather, it's the importance of flexibility in leadership. Different situations call for different approaches. Sometimes a company needs a decisive hand at the helm, like John. Other times, it benefits from a more collaborative approach, like Mary's. The impact of leadership styles on an organization is profound. It can influence everything from employee morale to product quality, from efficiency to profitability. As a leader, it's your job to understand your team, assess your situation, and choose the leadership style that will most effectively guide your organization towards success. Whether you're the captain steering the ship alone or with your crew's input, the destination of success remains the same. It's all about finding the right balance and style that works for you and your team.